Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of an ongoing series, an anthology series that I've been running for The Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is an online community. You can find out more about us at gauntlet-rpg.com. Come join us and play with us. This anthology series is called Star Wars Saturdays, where nearly every Saturday for over 3 years now, I will run a game that's not an officially licensed Star Wars RPG, but set in Star Wars because I like peanut butter and chocolate and I can't help myself. Every month, I'll pick a different RPG system. Some make reappearances because they were super fun, but I'm always looking for new stuff. And this month, December of 2020, the last month of 2020, thank you, God, I'm running Offworlders, which is this really cool World of Dungeons hack for spacefaring. It's a little Star Warsy, but it's got some other bits, and we have created some characters in order to exist in here. Now, this, because of the holidays, is a shorter series. This is the second of two sessions. And in the first session of Offworlders, this crew had we did a little bit of background creation, talked about our characters, and then the Beskar Dianoga was sent to the Minos cluster, which is out in the outer rim. You traveled to a um a jungle world called Ponchitaire, and found that on Ponchitaire there were some biodomes that had been, you knew they were there. They had been uh, abandoned during a failed attempt to colonize the place because there's a particular, hard to getium that can be mined here. So it could have been valuable for the corporations, but there are enough threats nascent to this world from the weird wildlife that it became untenable. And you were sent to retrieve the cargo and the crew of Tengu's prize. And you signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, because the Tengu's prize was carrying a bunch of what are called Rim X's. Rim X's were a class 5 droid, similar to the ASP series. I have a picture of that in the NPCs and places if you're like, I can't place what an ASP was. I only know because, thank you, Wikipedia. And you guys found the Tengu's prize. Uh, it had crash landed on a sandbar in the middle of a river near the biodomes. There are four domes. You went there, did some discovery, found that the engine, one of the engines, was shot in Atmo, which seemed a little suspicious. And it seemed that everyone had escaped that ship and dragged all the Remexes away. Traveled to the hangar dome of the four dome set, and there you met one of the members of the crew, Arvin Adelko, the first mate of Tengu's prize. She had several of these Rim X's, which surprisingly had missile pods and seemed really skittish, even though 50 Rim X's with missile pods, which she said, no, no, those are remotely deliverable mining charges, guys, please. So you reassured her that, hey, NDA, we're all on the same team here. And she revealed to you that the captain of the Tengu's Pride, the pilot, who kind of is also the captain, Rika Somyan, had been double dealing against the Yoshigawa Corporation, who had hired you, and was selling off a few of the RMXs every trip that they made. And then all of a sudden, a group that Arvin called the Guavian Death Gang attacked them. And the hope was that Arvin was trying to recondition one of the light freighters that they have found in this dome, in this hangar dome. She was trying to load it up and then was going to get all the Rim X's and take off and get this shipment to its final destination in hopes of uh, seeming heroic and also completing the job and also not getting in trouble. All of those things sounded acceptable, except there's a wrinkle. Number one, a couple of wrinkles. Number one, the Guavian Death Gangers are still out there. Number two, Mr. Sakamori, who hired you, made a personal plea that you find Rika Samyan because he revealed that is his niece. You're not sure if he's aware that his niece is skimming off the top. That wasn't really discussed in your meeting. Chances are good that maybe he doesn't know. But now you've got to find Rika, who Arvin had said had gone to the main biodome. And then you've got to get all of these Remexes off planet. Now, Arvin did tell you that Jek Finster and Sunt Baran, the other two members of the Tengu's Prize crew, didn't make it. But she's lied several times to you, poorly. And the fact that you didn't find any bodies and didn't find any signs of struggle in the ship make that fact a little specious. You had just left Arvin telling her to get things ready, but you did not tell her where your ship is because you don't trust her. Probably a good call. And told her to effectively hang tight. And let's see, is there anything that I've missed in that very long recap?
You did everything according to my notes. I think that perhaps did we have a sort of non-PC view, like audience view shot of the death gangs?
Yes. Yes. That is what we will begin with. Yes, that is our opening sequence.
Okay.
We also had we're on a jungle planet, and there are creatures out there that are not kind to us.
Oh yes, it's a very dangerous planet. Yeah.
Yes, there was like a titanic alligator crocodile thing that attacked Jay and injured him. So thank you, the hero of the Republic. So with all of that recap in the way, let me quickly go over our lines and veils. We have a line against sexual assault, sexual violence. We have a line against the death or endangerment of children, as well as harm to pet animals. By the way, that means that you don't know that I'm going to go do some harm to my dog who keeps barking in the back. Not really. I'm not going to hurt poor Beaker. Yeah, I'm sure that he's very sure he's protecting us. Anyway, veil on consensual sex. And an ask first means check in with the table about midichlorians. I think M counts we might slip under the radar, but midichlorians are definitely one of those contextual things. So now I'm going to mute myself so you don't have to hear the yapping of my dog. And we're going to go from right to left. Please introduce yourself and remind us about your character. Will, you go first.
Hi. So I am playing Lakim Naradel, who shares my pronouns he, him. He is an Arcanian, the offshoot of the Arcanians who have integrated like cybernetics into their physiology quite extensively. And Lakim Naradel is a bit of a con man, a sneak thief, a smuggler, a general rogue, and he's on the run from, well, not on the run, but earning some money to pay off some debts on Coruscant. And that's how he's become part of this crew.
Those debts have definitely bit hard into your crew. About a little bit of information that we revealed during character creation. You had a fourth member of your crew has been captured by a bounty hunter, and there's that outstanding debt. I just want to point out one little thing that I just now noticed. I love that Lack, the outlaw class, has an ability called Shoot First. That is the most Star Wars-y ability I've seen in a while. Thank you so much, Will. Steven, you're up.
Today I'm playing Jay Go. He is a Celestian. That's the guys who are in Return of the Jedi, and they've got the big jowls and everything, and big round eyes. Jay also uses the pronouns he, him. Jay is the warrior class. He was in the rebellion, but kind of fell down on his luck and is trying to make his way in the world at this point. And he wears a small tattered cape that seems to mean something, but it's all messed up and muddy, and now it's muddy and all that. So yeah.
Nowhere near as nice as Lax Cape. Lax Cape is pretty fly. Yeah, very pretty. Thank you so much. Philip, you're up. Please tell us. Introduce yourself. Tell us what your character.
Sure. I'm Philip Rogers. No relation. I go by Snarkade on Twitter. I've been playing with the Gauntlet for a couple of years now. I'm playing Yerzist, who is a Quarren, which is the other species of fishmen from Mon Calamari. The Mandalorian has proved apparently all have New England weird, New England accents, and wear fish, like kind of cable knit sweaters. So I'm leaning into that a little bit. He was the person that did exactly what he was supposed to in school, and then when he got out and was supposed to find his way in the universe and get a job, the Galactic Civil War broke down. So there was no work. So he's kind of he's decided that he was going to join a crew and go steal because he likes money.
He does. Yeah. He should. Sweet. So we begin with the three of you, along with your lovely, adorable 2IJ droid, heading out of the hangar in order to head to the main biodome. So if you check in the Gone Job tab at Outpost 4, the area where you are of those 4 domes, starts on road 26, is the small one that's closest to the word target location, which means that you can, if you wish, you can head out of the main hangar door, which actually points towards the river, and walk around through the jungle, or you can head through that main corridor that heads straight to the main dome. So I just need to know, which of the 2 ways are you hoping to travel to the main dome to try to find Rika?
I mean, Jay, you have those tracking skills that the rebellion taught you. But personally, if I was looking for someone, I usually follow the route they went rather than take a different route, because for all I know, they did not go where I thought they were going.
It's very true. The only suggestion I have, if you want to, the most direct route is probably to go, through the connecting tunnel. However, if we went through the jungle, we could actually take the ship over and move the ship from where it is. But it's safe enough where it is.
We would have to bring it back here and then face same option, no?
Yes.
If we are looking for Bossman's niece, then
let's do that first.
Yeah, I'm all up for taking whatever the shortest route is.
Yeah, I don't trust this woman either. She lies to us. We do not want to leave ship with her in any way.
Okay. Cool. So you guys are headed through the main corridor then, not worrying about moving the ship over. I don't argue with that logic in the slightest.
Maybe we turn the land speeder around so we can jump into it and race away as we're pursued by whatever's inside.
Cool. So the door starts to slide open into the corridor, and you see this is large. This was big enough, right? These are large biodomes that people could live in. So this is not a tight, like, submarine space. This is a thing that land speeders could easily move through. And as the door opens, you see that very quickly, moving away from the door, is a Guavian Death Gang member, guy in bright red with the helmet that has the weird red faceplate. Because it looks like he was trying to slice his way in. You
shut the door. Shut the door.
You see that you see that he had like the different things that were plugged into it, and you're telling them to shut the door because there are 3 other Guavian Death Gang members who had their weapons, and they quickly are cinching them up as the doors open up and starting.
I shoot first.
Oh, awesome! You do have the ability to shoot first. We called that out.
Yeah.
You cannot be surprised. So you get to jump on them instead. You always act first in a fight.
Well, I will scream out, "Drop him!" And if no one drops them, first one goes down. Yeah, of course. But I have to give it the chance, right?
Yes.
So that is 2d6, correct?
That is 2d6. You are firing upon them, so that's reaction time, and
That's agility,
yeah,
is that correct?
agility is exactly what you should roll. So 2d6
Okay, so
plus 2.
a 10.
Oh, nice. Okay, on a 10 or higher success, you get what you want, which means that you fire upon them, and they are not going to be able to get a shot back. We talked about your gear, and I believe you have a D6 weapon. So
I do. I have a blaster pistol.
cool.
I'm hoping to loot a better gun off one of these bodies if it's if it goes our way.
All right.
Oh dear. That's a 1.
Oh my. Okay.
So I think that's a quick blast, like kind of over the shot, like catches one of, like the shoulder of one of them or something.
Exactly. It bounces off the shoulders enough to hurt.
I tell you what, hits the gun of one of them.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, like, and he has to drop that blaster, and he's going for a blaster pistol. That's a blaster rifle you won't get access to. If you're wondering what they look like, there are pictures of Guavian death gangers on row 8 of our NPCs and places. They look so cute. They're so action figurable. Also notice that of that picture of them in the corridor, like one of those guys looks a little on the chunky side. So maybe they're very open-minded about their hiring practices. Cool. So you got to shoot first. The next question I have is Jay, as you see that the poodoo is going down, what are you doing?
So yeah, Jay is definitely, shots are being fired. I think his instincts take over, and he hits the ground with his pistol out, and he's firing back, returning shots. They haven't shot at us, is that right? It's just
they're in the process of bringing their weapons to bear and firing at you. So blaster bolts are going your way. You just look like is so fast that he just shot one in the gun.
Awesome.
So go ahead and roll plus agility. For you, that is a +2 as well.
Okay. See if that works.
Oh, wow, another 11. How is it that you avoid a couple of the blaster bolts while you shoot one of them, Jay?
So I think what happens is they get their weapons up to here and they pull the trigger, and Jay drops to the ground, and we see the laser bolt roll over, kind of fly over where he was, and he starts rolling across and then opens up fire as he's rolling. Yeah. So you see the little peaks of dirt as the laser bolts are coming towards where he used to be.
Oh, nice. Cool. Go ahead and roll that damage and let's see how that goes.
Okay. That's a 4, plus I do an extra 2 damage with ranged weapons.
Sweet. That is enough to take out one of the Guavian Death Gang members. So, your blaster hits him right in the chest as he was aiming at you. You fire, hit him in the chest. He drops to a knee, and then you fire another bolt and hit him in his helmet, and he falls over, gone. So we have 3 Guavian Death Gang members left. One of them looks like a slicer. Yoshigawa, what are you doing as they are trying to fire upon you guys? And you see the guy who was trying to open the door is now moving in, like he hasn't drawn a weapon yet. He's just trying to get inside.
Yoshigawa's first reaction was, as soon as he saw this, was to go for the console and close the door again.
Okay. Let's have you do that.
But now that the shots were fired, he changes plans a little bit. And what he wants to do is he wants to grab the console, and since there's a identical console on both sides, using his hijack ability, he wants to basically short out that side to hit the slicer with the sparks. So the idea is to kind of slice the slicer.
Slice the slicer. That is pretty cool. Let's see you pull off a. This will be an int roll.
Yep. So let's
You got a
see.
+2 on that.
Modifiers 2. Let's see. That's a 13 total.
Wow. So I think I have an idea, but like any other flair with a 13 that you want to add into that very adroit maneuver.
The way that I kind of pictured it happening was he was typing. He immediately turned away. He still had one of his hands that was kind of trailing on the keyboard. Your Zist kind of turned the electronics back on him, and you kind of see it race up through the cybernetics that the Death Gang members have, and it kind of locks up his ability to move, and he kind of falls to the ground like a droid with the battery removed.
Kind of the R2D2 after getting electrocuted moment there. That is pretty awesome as he's all locked up in his armor. I like it. Sweet. So, Jaco, you effectively dodged out of the way, as did Lack. They are going to try to advance. You're just you with your 13. The doors are closing. Lack, as you see, they're trying to race their way in to get to you. What are you doing? Stepping back? Do you want to try to fire on them to stop them from making it through the door on time?
I mean, that door's also where we need to go through, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So,
looks like your Zist is closing it though.
yeah, but there are. I'm just trying to think of a reason why I would shoot the door controls. Just because it feels like such a Star Warsy thing to do is to shoot the door controls. You know what? I think I see it, and I duck down as a blaster bolt ricochets off the thing, and I yell at Zist like, "We need those doors open!" and then turn around and just like, Kref, if only Rakim was here with his heavy blaster, repeating blaster rifle, we would be fine.
Yeah.
This guy who had all of the stuff that we need and is not here.
Oh, if only Ronick were here. Cool.
Yes.
Go ahead and fire again with agility as you're trying to fend off your position or defend this position.
Ooh, bad.
Bad. I like bad.
4.
Nice. So something about your Arcadian demeanor or the like has drawn their ire. You fire wildly, hitting no one, and I would like for you to roll a d8.
Okay. It's probably the guy whose gun I shot out of his hands, right? Gets snarls and picks up his pistol and shoots at me back.
He shoots you a couple of times.
Oh, yes.
Which is the d8.
Ugh, 7.
Oh my. Now, yes, you do have 1 armor, so you are going to eat 6 of that.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like you're subtracting from the... No, huh. Okay, how did you have 14 hit points?
We got a temporary one from somewhere, didn't we? Oh, I haven't actually touched... I can't remember. Did we get a temporary one from somewhere or something?
I don't know.
But I don't remember touching the hit points thing.
I don't think so either. You never took an injury. So you should be at 13 hit points.
Yeah.
And then you've taken 13. 6 right now. So
yeah,
you're down to 7 hit points.
Yeah.
You're down to half of your life, your precious life.
Hey, this is how Lack's gonna go out, isn't it? In a corridor fight.
That's how it's gonna go down. This is unfortunately how it goes. Yeah. So you get hit pretty hard, Jay. You see Lack get hit and hurt. These guys are trying to press their way in. They're moving towards the corridor. One of them is about to step through as the door is coming shut. He may get trapped, but we're not sure. Jay, what are you doing?
So, Lakeem just got shot. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jay stands up, screaming, and starts, firing rapid fire at the guy who shot Lakeem.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll.
That whole headlong rushing.
Oh, I love it. Yes, very heroic. And if you basically pull a 10 plus here, you're going to halt their advance, and that door will close.
I got a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means you're going to hit, and you guys are going to swap damage. So go roll your damage, and you get to roll another d6.
So that'll be 6 damage to them, and then roll another d6.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to roll that a second time, and that's 6.
Okay. And that is how much he does back to you, unless, as a veteran, you want to re-roll either of those damage dice.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, let's re-roll. I'm going to re-roll his dice because max damage always sucks. So let's see what that looks like. 1 point less.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
hey, it's 1 point less. With your armor, that means that's 4 points that you take.
Got it.
And then he does get to the other side as the door closes. He is hurt, like he's fallen down to one knee. But the door closes before the others advance. Like one guy's like, "Hey!" and then shoo, the door closes. There's a Guavian Death Gang member here on this side. Resist. You're the next one to act or react. You also hear from behind you, Arvin Adelko screaming out, "They're coming! They're coming!" She's not aware of what you guys are dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Ursus goes, "You want me to open the door again?" So he starts to grab the console and immediately starts to open the door. At which point, I'm sure somebody yells, "No, keep it closed." So what he wants to do this time is just say, "All right, I'll do both." And he basically has the door start to slam. So the idea is to open quickly, have the guy try to get through and catch him in the door.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, in my head, I was saying this is a door that isn't like super fast, but maybe you can supercharge it. So let's give it your.
I was, at which point I was told to open it, so I basically took off the.
Yeah, and then I got shot in the face.
Yeah. So I took off the, the thing that made it go
The
slow.
governor.
To open as
Yeah,
fast
totally.
as possible. At which point, then he got shot in the face, and then I immediately started to close it again with no governor. And the idea is to catch the guy in the door.
Oh, this is great. It's like a Tom and Jerry routine. I love it. Let's see if you can catch this guy in the door.
All right. It's 10.
Okay. The door opens up, and the one guy tries to step through the one of the uninjured GDG folks, and then you close the blast door, capturing one of his arms, and it starts crushing it. He's screaming as the armor is starting to give way, because this is definitely not Beskar that he is got for his armor.
I start going, "I think that's 2 for me."
So it's the one death. So you have 2 death gangers, one who made his way through, but he's injured. One who made it partially through and his arm was caught, and he is in a great deal of pain dealing with the door. The guy who's injured drops basically drops some kind of like bulb that explodes, and there's a bunch of greenish mist that comes out. It's very thick. It's like pea soup. It starts spreading out towards you guys, and he's in the middle of it. It's kind of that, ninja dropping the bomb. It's not fast enough to where he disappears, but he will in a moment. Lack, you shoot first. So what is your reaction?
Before he gets undercover, I shoot him.
Okay, that makes sense. Go ahead and roll plus agility.
I think I haul myself up against the wall from the wall that I've staggered against with my vest smoking from the shot. Sorry, it's not letting me get rid of the D8 from the previous damage. That's an 8.
That is great. You will do that, and you get to take a D4 of damage in return. Your armor does not count against it because it is poison damage.
Oh, it's a poison damage. Fair enough. Well, I never said that Lack was very clever. Or long for this world.
Very clever.
Sister 1. So
Okay,
I'm
and
still hanging in there. I think
you
after I shoot and I catch him, right, and then I just stagger back like, it's gas.
cool. Go ahead and roll your damage. He is nearly gone, but if you roll a 1, then he might
Yeah,
have a
well,
chance
I
to
mean,
disappear.
the way I have been rolling.
It's always a possibility.
It's a 3.
Cool. You dispatch him.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. So the pea soup fog raises up, but you see the silhouette in it and fire upon him. But then a little bit of trickles into your nose, and you fall back coughing. Jago, what is it that you are doing? As you see, Lack has just shot one of the two. You still have the guy who's stuck in the door.
Hold of Lakeem and kind of drags him out so that we're out of that pea soup. And kind of gets behind with your zits kind of behind the console, ducks behind there, and we're kind of back there, kind of taking cover and kind of,
Cool. So yeah, you yank him away. I'm good with that not being a die roll. You pull Lack away and don't take any harm to yourself. Your Zist, you see the last guy who does not seem to be affected by this fog. He at this point is trying to figure out what to do about his arm. He's thinking, do I shoot my arm off? What do I do? Maybe he just stands there screaming in pain. What do you do?
I go, I think we got a few seconds. He's thinking, and I don't think that's his strong suit. So I kind of look for I go around like this, and I pull out like one of the little porta back to sprays.
Mhm.
And what I want to do is I want to, at least stop some of the damage that because Lakeem's been pretty hurt.
Cool. All right. So you're leaving the Guavian Death Gang member to fend for himself while heading over to try to heal up Lack. That sounds fantastic. So you are going to use your supply. And with supply, you can... How do we do healing on this? Just a second. Sorry.
If you have a few quiet minutes, you can spend 1 supply to heal another character 1d6 of health.
Perfect. Then
So
that thing.
I mean, if we're pulling back, we could, we've run around the corner, right, while this guy's screams echo down the corridor. Yeah.
I figure, we're probably sitting there kind of just giggling if he's laughing and screaming and stuck in the door. And as smugglers, this is kind of the thing that brings us joy.
Yeah.
So I think that we kind of, at least Zist wants to watch to see how this plays out a little bit. So he's just going to take the time as he's watching to kind of use his supply.
Okay. All right. So then go ahead and roll that d6. Hopefully you roll well.
All right.
Don't let Lack roll because he rolls really low on d6s.
Yeah. No bonus on this, right?
Correct. It's just a straight d6. Cool. 3 points back.
I have science. Do I want to try to re-roll with science? Is that...
You can. You certainly can, but it means you got to take the second die.
Yep. I look at Lack. I go, your call. You want me to do a little better, or do you want to stick with what you got?
Work your magic.
All right.
God, I love this. Like or take the second roll thing. It's pretty cool.
There we go. See, it's a little better when I try harder.
Well, I guess we're not going that way unless we deal with that guy. Jay, you look pretty messed up as well. Maybe, I don't know, what do you think we should do?
I think Jay is like, he steps out from around. He says he answers by stepping out from around the corner, laying down fire. So I assume the green mist is all kind of,
it's pretty much
obscuring
covered
everything.
The doorway. Yeah, it's obscured the doorway. And sorry, you guys pulled yourselves away. And your Zist is dealing with Lack. You also see that there was a Guavian Death Gang group on a skiff that tried to come through the hangar doors, not the way headed to the biodome. Arvin is dealing with them with the Rim-X's. They fired off a few missiles, and it seems like the Rim-X's have nearly taken care of the Guavian Death Gang members at this point.
They're mining the hell out of them over there.
That's right.
That's right. So Jay actually kind of steps out from around the corner in answer and starts firing blindly at that area where the Deathganger was kind of stuck with his arm.
Oh, cool. So then go ahead and roll an agility. If you get a 10 plus, you hit him and he's done.
Okay.
Okay.
I got an
cool.
8.
Yeah, you fire a few times and you think you got him.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
There we go.
You don't hear his
I got it all
yells
taken care of.
Yeah, you don't hear him screaming in pain or anything more.
Yeah.
So
Give a shaky salute as you step back into the thing. So,
Is the gas starting to clear out on its own?
it hangs there for a bit, but you do see that eventually it will start to dissipate. Like if you were to circulate, like maybe you could do something to kind of suck that air up in using the biodome's air conditioning kind of air filtration systems, but it's not kicked in. Oh, Lack should be up to 11 hit points now, right?
oh yes, 11. Sorry. I was just going to say, as far as the hangar fight goes, she's got a load of war droids, mining droids, and I also don't trust her. And the only thing that's of interest to us there is the cargo, right? But also, and our speeder. But leave her to deal with it. Maybe push on and hope that we can always pick up the cargo later. Sounds like they got the skiff, anyways.
I go, Jay, looks like you skinned your knee a little bit too. Let me see if I could help you out.
I was going to spend one of my supply.
And I'll grab one of his supply. I go, let me do this. I actually know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Nice.
So I will spend one of your supply. Let's see how I do.
Here we go.
3. I gave you the same deal.
The exact same deal.
You want me to try a little harder, or do you think we did as good as we gonna do?
Yeah, try a little harder. Rub some dirt in it.
Okay, it's a little bit better. It's your lucky day.
Yeah.
I should play some Sabaclate or something.
Nice. Cool. So after you guys do a quick bit of healing, you see that the Rimexes have mined the hell out of the Guavian Death Gang. Unfortunately, they did take out the skiff as well as several bits of wall. It seems that the Rimexes are not terribly choosy about where they remotely set their charges.
I want to take a look at their missile pods. Like, how much of their ordnance have they expended?
It looks like these Rimexes have burned through all of their ordnance. They are not big on taking their time or being conservative.
Okay.
You also don't see any like blasters on them. Like they have the missile pods and that's it.
Yeah, blasters would be silly. Why would they bring blasters into a mine?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no justification for blasters.
Couldn't get away with it.
Nah.
We need to clear this gas and get out of here before more show up.
All right, it's pretty much going, but if you want to be a little impatient, I can see what I can flip of a switch over here. And, okay, I think most of it's going now.
All right.
Can I grab a blaster rifle from someone?
You sure can.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I will offer it to Jay first because he's better with it. Although, can we both have blaster rifles? Is that
There were 2 that made their way over, and you do find that eventually the guy did pass out from pain. He didn't get shot by Jay, but he's out. And he did have a blaster rifle. And then the other guy, the guy whose blaster rifle you shot is on the other side. So yeah, the 2 guys here do have effective blaster rifles. You guys can collect them. And
I'm going to try to see what the slicer had on him.
The slicer's on the other side of the door. You want to open it up?
Yeah, I think we're good. Well, first I'm going to knock and go. Anybody over there? Nope. I think we're good.
No one responds.
I'm pretty sure, you're pretty much have to respond. So I go, make sure you guys get ready. So if something comes through, you just blast the hell out of them. Okay.
Well, we shot one of them, and you zapped the slicer.
Yeah.
So in theory, there was 3. The theory we should be fine. Who knows if they had reinforcements?
And Jay kind of points to Lakeem and says, we get on either side, so we're kind of out of sight in cover. So if anything comes through rushing in, we have the drop on them.
We're like the start of New Hope, bent down around the corridor. Yeah,
it worked out well for them. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna use the console a little bit, and at this point, I'm pretty much a master how to work this console. So I'm just gonna open it up normal speed and see if there's anything on the other side.
Cool. Door slides open, little bits of the green that's left just kind of rolls in, and you see the pair of Guavian death gangers, one that was electrocuted, the other that was shot up, both lying there. You see the long stretch of corridor, and you also notice that this is sorry, I was like going to say miles, should go to kilometers, but I think I can do miles because I think I understands miles. So quarter mile.
I understand both. It's fine.
Oh, you're so smart. I don't
Hey.
understand kilometers, so I go through the pain of doing conversions. Quarter mile of long quarter, and it's just a straight shot. And the first thing you see is that the blast doors to the main, like one of them is ajar. Looks like it was forced open. And you see that there's a lot of there are vines that hang off of it. Whatever is going on in the main dome does look a little odd.
This place didn't have anything on them.
Oh, cool! You check it out, and you can scrounge effectively one supply from him of tech gadgets and the like. And he's also got some cred, so grab yourself a cred. He's cocky enough to carry his money around when he goes into battle.
Was this the heavy one?
Yeah.
Of
course. We'll go with the heavy one being the tech guy.
Okay. Now that I kind of get a chance to kind of look at them a little bit, we can't really take their uniforms off. They're kind of cybernetic, or could we?
You can remove the helmet. The rest of the stuff is cybernetic. It seems like it's put on them in plates.
I definitely want to put one of the helmets on.
Cool. It's one of those where the front thing kind of slides and pops open, and you see inside that this heavyset one was a Trandoshan. His face was really crammed in to fit into that helmet.
Which is good because I need the space to cram myself into that helmet.
Oh, so you're gonna try to put the helmet on yourself? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to put it on because that doesn't seem like that. What could possibly go wrong with that?
Man, it stinks in here.
Yeah, it smells like snake sweat. You slide your head into the Guavian Death Gang helmet. The thing slims closed, and you realize that when things come on, there's a HUD and a display, and it appears that you're not actually looking through. You're looking through whatever cybernetics and this are giving you camera views of everything.
This is kind of cool in here.
And you hear Ziss's voice comes through a little odd. I don't think all of your tentacles fit in the helmet, so they're kind of squashed against your neck there. Mm-hmm. Super uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's one of those where science is sometimes pain.
Can you see other Gavians inside the dome?
Let me see. I want to see if I can if I can see if I'm connected to others.
Oh man, give me a tech roll, intelligence roll here as you try to activate their systems.
All right.
How long until one of us realizes if we can see them?
That's not necessarily always true. That's just most of the time. Is a 14 good?
That's pretty amazing. So, of course, you hear some chatter between them, and you grab a ping. There are a total of... Rich is going to roll dice because he's interested in learning about this number as well. There are a total of 11 on planet still alive. You also get the flat lines of the 4 that you faced and the 4 that came in on the skiff. You also are in communication with the ship, the Guavian Deathgangers ship, which is currently in orbit. But they're aware of your presence as well.
Okay.
Turn it off quickly. Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
And I go, okay. I put the helmet down and I kind of look at the team and I go, they know exactly where I am right now. They're probably going to come right to the spot. They're probably going to be angry. When people are angry, you can kind of use that against them. Do we want to set some sort of trap for them?
I mean, that is interesting idea. I don't think this is bad. We know more about them than we did before, and they know simply that we are exactly where they thought we were. You know, because they already sent those guys.
And we also know that their go-to thing that if they get into trouble, they're going to use some of that poison, crap on us. So as long as we plan for that, we're not going to get caught off guard.
So here's the deal. What about if we put our clothes on some of the Remexes, and we have a spare blaster, right? So I'm going to hand my blaster over to one of the Remexes in their little manipulator hand, and the poison won't affect them. We leave the Remexes here, and they're expecting 3 adversaries instead of however many there are here of the Remexes. There's a bunch of them.
But they fired all of their missiles, unfortunately.
Yeah, Arvid says, "Hey, I could swap out, have these guys open up a few other crates, and try to activate some more of the Remexes. Maybe we just get off the planet, though, right? This seems really hot. Let's just go."
And
I look at it, I go, are you crazy? If we try to get off the planet, the ship that's in orbit is going to blow us out of the freaking stars.
That ship.
Yeah, you got to think things through. You got to use your head.
And we never leave one behind, so we have to go find Rika.
Well, that's not exactly true.
I like the idea though, Stephen. Swap it out for putting some of the Remexes kind of in our place.
Yeah, so tell them to kind of hide behind these crates so they're not easily seen, and they try their poison trick again, and it doesn't work on droids.
I was also wondering.
Looks at the blaster. It's not entirely sure what to do with a blaster, but yeah, you sounds good. You've got blaster rifles now. You don't have to worry about what they do.
I was wondering about the helmets. Probably protect them from the gas. And it feels useful to us to have them. And I know we're putting a lot of pressure on Zed's skills here, but he's the man for the job, it seems. I was wondering if possibly Zitz could disconnect them from the feed so that we can use them to protect ourselves from the gas, maybe bluff out like a quick bluff, like, oh, hi guys, I'm one of the you, and get close enough to shoot. It opens up a lot of possibilities to have the helmets on.
So if you're worried about the gas, if I recall correctly, we have gas masks from last time. I think for the gas, we can, now that we know it's coming, we can kind of protect ourselves. But your idea of
remembered.
Yeah, but your idea of using it kind of as a distraction, hey guys, we're coming back, might be an option.
Well, let's take one with. If we can cut one off and take one with us, we can use it to spy on them.
Okay.
I look at this one. I go, this helmet here. I pretty much, wrote the manual on the thing. I mean, I look at it. I go, I knock it. I'm like, I rolled a 14 on this. I can reverse engineer this. This is a science fair project for me.
Nice, cool. Yeah. Are we good with health, guys? Do you think we could burn one more?
I mean, I'm perfectly fine. I mean, it's a little chilly.
Yeah, we're all close, aren't we? All right.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
Should we dungeon crawl on?
Did you get a ping or anything from Rika? Like, has she been captured or killed?
I was exactly going to jump in with that. So you guys are discussing, hey, do we want to do any healing, anything along those lines? And that's when Arvin's comm bleeps, and you immediately hear,
Arv, do you have it ready? Listen, I've got to come out, and I'm coming out hot. I'm on my way.
And Arvin looks to you guys and she says, "Be careful, Rika." Real quick. See, I didn't give anything away. Rika comes to us, we get off the planet. It's fine.
Why do you not simply tell us whole story rather than this half-assed kind of lies? They are not productive. I got shot over this.
I'm sorry. Listen, I just was.
What is she bringing back? She said she's got something.
An egg. Let's just go. Let's get everything ready to go.
What egg?
She really did go to the biodome. She found
That's
some
fine.
weird
Just tell me what
creatures.
egg. Like, is she having breakfast? Or are we talking like some giant like rancor or what?
I think she called them a Erisaruk. I don't know. It's some kind of flying creature that we saw around here. She said it could fetch a pretty penny.
Why is it everybody that comes from money keeps doing stupid shit like this?
Well, I don't know, but
Sorry.
hopefully they got two.
Carg like this.
She's coming back and she's coming hot. I guess we should get ready and to get it, right? Like get the speeder loaded up and let's book it or bring the ship over here.
So I think our best plan is probably to book it with the speeder back to our ship and then pull the ship back in. But we still have the big problem of how to get out of here with the Death Gang's ship in orbit. We have to lure them down or something.
I wonder if we can get that freighter to take off. Not be, it's not fixed. It's not good enough for hyperspace, maybe, but it'll fly. Like the one that she was working on. If we can get it just to take off.
Arvin says, "Yeah, I mean, the hyperdrive is off. It's whack, but the sublights are. We need somebody to fly it, though. I'm not going to do it because whoever flies this gets left behind."
Or the idea is that they take it off and we rescue them with our ship, or we use them to draw out the enemy so that we can take down the enemy in our ship.
Did I tell the level of ship that was in orbit? Was it an armed transport? Was it a warship?
Oh, there's actually a picture of it. So you get that. The Death Ganger's ship it is armed and it does have a bunch of shields on it. You wouldn't call it, like, it's not Imperial level, but it is definitely something that could be used for pirating. It's tougher than your ship.
The hell you say?
Sorry.
I know. We've got a bunch of droids with mining equipment, right?
Yeah.
We rig up something where we can strap those droids to the hull and use them as turrets, either on this decoy ship or on the other ship, and draw the Death Gangers in and then blow them out of the sky with our mining supplies.
I like the idea of using the ship as a decoy, like you said, Lakeem, and we can, we just need to get out of here. So we can leave a droid behind, kind of piloting the ship. It can take off and head in a particular direction.
These Remexes are not sophisticated enough to fly a ship. I'm sorry, Arvin says.
Zitz, what do you think? Do you think you could rig something up?
I mean,
remote or
maybe? I guess the question is my primary ability as a geek is drone controller. Can I leverage any of that to basically remotely pilot a ship? I don't need it to do anything. Just take off and kind of move in a straight line.
I fly ship.
No. No. That's not an option. That's not an option. You know, I'm sure we can get. I'm sure Lakeem will go, or Jay. He's a hero. He's a hero of the rebellion. I'm sure one of them, you know, will certainly pilot the ship.
So Jay says, "Sure, I'll pilot the ship.
See,
I'll pilot the ship. I'll be the decoy. Whenever the death gang comes after me, you guys can swoop in and take them out, and then we'll both land, and we can head out."
other question: if the ship is going to actually dock with this freighter in orbit, what exactly is it going to do? Does it does it launch a tether over there? Does it create like a ship that they can like travel through? I'm thinking that a bunch of robots with missile pods and you open up basically an airlock from one ship to another. Like that's point blank. You shoot them right in the gut with that.
I figured they were just going to shoot down the freighter and.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Well, the freighter's full of the cargo they're trying to steal, isn't it?
Yeah, so is the other one.
They have ion blasters, guys. I'm sorry. They took out our engine and they ion blasted us, and that's how we hit so hard. We wiped the logs. I think that whoever flies the ship flies one way, we fly the other way, and we get out of here. And that's when you hear a weird alien screeching call. And from the windows, the few windows of the biodome, you see this. Well, here, let me show you a picture of the creature. This thing is flying low, and it looks like it is coming down to like grab something. And I think at that point we'll take our mid-game break. So it's 17 after. And from the moment that you see what must be an Esaruk, you see coming for the doors, holding a pair of eggs, is running and screaming, "Kill it! Just shoot it!" Is none other than the blue-haired Rika Samian. And she's running frantically. She hops over a couple of Guavian death gang bodies, and this thing is now kind of swooping in and coming through the doors. Like you pretty quick. What do you do?
I take a leaf out of Zid's book and I shoot the door controls before it can swoop in through.
Awesome. If you get a 10 plus on this, the door will close before the Esaruk will come flying through.
Okay, let's see. No.
Yeah, and I don't think manipulation or sneak will give you a
No. I maybe even as she runs in, Arvin hits like a control panel next to her and the doors start to close, and I fire the gun, hitting the other control panel, and it just stays stuck open. And I go like, Clef!
Mark an XP.
Yep.
And yeah, the door shutters before it slides closed. But then the Esaruk flies in, swooping after, and it, with its, you can see, like it's the kind of thing where its arms are wings, and it's got the back claws. One of the back claws is reaching for and snatches Rika up, and it looks like it's going to try to snatch her up and fly for the sky, which it's a dome, so that's not going to work great. Jay, what do you do seeing this?
So yeah, Jay actually runs out. So it's reached out and it's grabbed Rika, and he's going to shoot at the joint where it's grabbed her by to see if it can get it to drop. And
Okay.
I'm going to roll my shooting.
All right.
There we go. That's a 10.
Nice. Roll your damage. You hit it exactly where you intend.
That's
And
a
this is
3.
with your rifle, so it's d6 plus 2, right?
Oh, okay. So if that's true, then it's a d6 plus 4 because I get plus 2 to it, right?
I'm sorry, a rifle's a d6 plus 1, and
Okay.
you get plus 2, so it's 3 that you're
Yep.
adding.
So I've got 6.
That's pretty great. Hold on just a second. I think we need to add a few rows to the bottom and give you guys some more room for gear. So I'm going to do that real quick.
And the intention here isn't necessarily to take it out, but to hurt it enough to to get it to run away or drop Rika.
Yeah, no, I understood what you're talking about. And
Right.
that's exactly what happens is that you hit it in its leg and the joint there, and it screeches in pain and banks and flies away, and Rika drops back down to the ground. You see there's a couple of like claw marks on the front of her chest there. She had not let go of the eggs yet, though she was getting ready to think like, if I throw one, maybe it will let me go, but she didn't. She drops to the ground, she looks around, and she's going to scamper for one of the droids to try to hide behind it. You resist. You see the
how hurt does this thing
good.
look?
How hurt does this thing look? It looks like that leg might be inoperable, but it is flying, and it is going to come back around. It's going to fly up and then swoop back around to try to get Rika again.
All right. What I want to do is I want to call in my friendly neighborhood little droid pal.
Mm-hmm.
And since he's a flying little drone, what I want to do is instruct him to fly up in front of the thing and hit its it's basically has a messaging capability for long distance. What he does is he flies up and he can kind of signal.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want him to do is I want him to turn those on full bright and basically try to, flash him in the eyes with it and try to see if I can drive him away by activating his senses overly like that.
Yes, yes.
So let's see if my thinking actually works.
And 2-1J starts flying up, putting around with using his little grav controls, heading straight for this thing, and it's not really paying much attention to this itty bitty guy.
All right, let's see if Sparkle Time works. Kind of 8. I want to try to re-roll tech on that 2.
Okay, you re-roll that 2. Six and a 4.
Yep.
Plus your int of 2 gives it a 12. Yeah,
Yes.
That's the thing where brave little 2-1J goes flying up into the air, and do you have like a kind of a wrist thing or a data pad? How do you control it?
Yeah, basically, I think on my right hand I have the slingshot, and my left hand I kind of have like a little flip up that kind of looks like a little keypad on it, and a little joystick, and I kind of guide him in. Its wings open, and then it just completely opens. The sun comes out right in its eyes.
Nice. And yeah, that's huge brightness. Who knows how many lumens that is. And the thing which was barreling down for Rika, its eyes are blinded, and it spins out of the way. And actually, when it banks off, you see that it heads and kind of slaps into, if you look in the Gone Job, you've got the number 5, the damaged medium freighter. It smacks into the top part of the damaged medium freighter and slips down the side and starts trying to move to get its senses back, but it seems to be blinded. Jay, what are you doing?
Computer's not as clumsy as a blaster.
Said that there is a bulk load walker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to jump in that and try to like pin this thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I really want to see this fight. Give me a climbing, sprinting, breaking things, fighting, and melee. So I think it's a strength roll, which is not really your suit, but none of you guys are that strong.
That's fine. I mean, if it looks cool, we'll try it.
It looks so cool. We'll take an XP. That's just too good.
So that's an 8.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, with an 8, I think you guys are gonna swap damage. So what's your intention? Like hold it down, crush it,
Yeah.
smack it around? What do you want to do?
So if I understand correctly, the positioning is it was blinded and it kind of smacked, headlong into that freighter. And I think Jay hops into that thing. He's not great at controlling it, but he's got a little bit of piloting skills, and it kind of chunks over, and then he's going to basically drop it to pin it to the ground.
Oh, nice.
And so I think it just kind of tumbles over on top of it, and he kind of scrambles out, and that's whenever he takes damage.
Yeah, it tail whips you as it's struggling, but the thing has held it down. You're successful in pinning this Asaruk, and it tail whips and whacks you. Maybe you fall to the ground. Go ahead and roll a d4.
1.
Okay, your armor soaks that up. You're
Oh,
okay. So you get knocked to the ground, but it's scuffs and bruises that will heal over time. Not even a hit point worth of damage. And the thing is, I mean, it's not happy, right? It's letting out that weird screeching noise. And Rika looks around and she says, "Wow, thanks for the assist, Arvin. You didn't mention these guys." And Arvin says, "Yeah, they're a rescue crew. They're with Yoshigawa. We gotta go."
Your uncle was very worried about you, Miss Semyon.
Really?
Yes, he was very worried about his good little niece.
Okay.
Hmm.
Glad he sent such a great team. Listen, you guys know about the Guavian Death Gangers, right?
Yes, we know everything by now. Miss Adelko is very useful.
Is the light freighter ready to go?
Sure, but there's a ship in orbit that's ready to blow it out of the scars. So
Makes sense. Yeah. Listen, where's your ship, guys? Do you know me? I'm Rika. Who's running this crew?
It's like triumvirate, you know?
Yeah, it's a cooperative endeavor.
Okay, great. So
Well, we were going to get our ship, but someone did not tell us about Guardian Death Gangers or plan to get eggs and all kinds of things. So, we didn't trust you. And now we are in this position where our ship is not here and we are stuck with people we do not trust. Perhaps we could start again, right?
She smirks. Sorry. She's a good tech. She's not the best talker.
Well,
Arvin shrugs like she's not wrong.
Well, you cut us in on whatever money is coming from those eggs. Maybe we can all leave as friends, yes?
Sounds good. You get us off of here. NDAs? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll have our
good.
lawyer look at it, yes. But how are we going to get out
Get
of
one
this,
of these,
though?
I get the other. I get a 10% for, if you go with the person who's offering me the creds for it.
Sounds like deal. Now, the freighter does not have a hyperdrive, sadly.
Okay. That's a problem, but then it's kind of on its last legs. It was nothing more than a decoy anyway. You guys have a plan on getting out of here, or should we just call for another helper, or can you actually
I mean,
get us out?
we could go get our ship, bring it back, and load it up. Probably like flying low. It's not very far, right? So it's probably safe enough to bring it here, load it up, and then try and fly out. If we don't, but if we use the freighter, I feel like we need to come back for whoever goes on, like use it in some sort of trap kind of mechanism. Like, because I'm not writing off another member of our crew,
What makes sense to me is that we don't load up the cargo until after we've taken care of the Death Gang's ship.
So we're going to take care of the Death Gang ship. That's our objective, is we're going to get rid of neutralize the Death Gang ship, right? We need to use the freighter to neutralize it. I think the freighter can be useful. We can maybe use these droids somehow, like I say. I don't mind, but I would like to volunteer to be the pilot to lead the freighter on a chase, to take the freighter out. If you guys come up with something to take out the enemy ship while I'm, and you can pick me up from wherever I end up crashing, because they can use an ion cannon, right? I have a good chance of walking away from that. It's not going to blow me up.
Those droids aren't going to be very effective once they get hit, though.
That is the problem, but maybe you guys could soup up your weapon systems with them.
Were they at any point planning on bringing that ship down, or is that one of those ships that stays up in space the whole time? Like, how'd they get their guys here?
How'd they get their guys here? Yeah, that whatever ship is in orbit, I'm hoping, Rika says, I'm hoping is the ship that you saw or know about. Did you pass it coming here, or how do you know it's in orbit?
And I go, I just asked. I picked up the helmet and I said, there's the ship and there's the 11 death gangers that we haven't killed yet. We got 8 of them. There's still, wait a second. I got an idea. These sometimes turn out okay. Sometimes they're death traps, but perhaps we tell them that we want to make a trade. And we've got the stuff. Just if they're scum, maybe they think we're scum. We could do that.
They probably know that Rika and Arvin are not scum, but
they are
don't
total
know about
scum. No
us.
offense.
I go,
Right.
I go. Pretty much everybody here is pretty scummy on this planet.
But they don't know about us, so we could always try and make a deal with them and say, hey, they know we're here. And like, hey, we came down to get the Rimexes, but it looks like you guys have more firepower. We'll make a trade. We've killed Arvin and Rika, but you can have half the Rimexes and we'll take the other half and make some kind of deal.
And then when they come down, you guys waylay them, and we gotta waste
figure
some more of the charges.
If we get the thing down, we can figure out a way how to, we effectively have a spaceport here, which means that there's probably some sort of locking mechanism that if we bring them down, if they touch down, we can probably keep them down. Or if they're on the ground, only a couple missile pods. That's all it takes to take a ship out on the ground. At that point, it's just a big target that you can't miss.
Well, for all we know, they are on the ground, and like our ship is.
They weren't last time I checked. They were still in orbit. I can pick up the helmet and poke around again. But I figure the more times they do that, they're going to start crawling around in my brain. And, once they start crawling around in my brain, who knows what they're going to find up there.
So, Lakeem, I think this would be something that you would probably be best talking to them. Do you feel okay with this plan, or do you want to go with a decoy kind of thing?
No, I am fine with the plan of manipulating them. There are still 11 of them. And well, we have loads of droids. Hey, you know what? This doesn't work. We are back in the same position anyways, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I did not really want to fly ship, and those kind of heroic things was always more Rakim's thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Who's this Rakim guy? Sounds pretty cool.
And we're all real quiet. We don't. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so let's figure out. And I go. I guess I'm going to try to dry rig the helmet so we can set it up to be some sort of two-way communication, and then I'll put the helmet on and you could talk to them, and we can try to communicate with them that way.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Now let's see if I can actually do that.
Awesome. So you slip the Trandoshan helmet on.
Oh, this still smells like dead lizard in here.
It does, because it had a dead lizard in it. Yeah, they excrete some kind of like death slime before they go. So
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
it smells like really bad liquor.
Basically, the little tentacles are kind of like spasming outside of the helmet.
Cool. So you're gonna attempt to connect with these guys?
Yeah, and see if I can kind of pass the imaging of Lakeem to talking through me to them.
Oh wow, you're the conduit. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Give me an int roll. As long as you don't fail, then you will set up that conduit.
Oh, great. That's a lot of pressure. Let's see. This. An 11. Okay, I'm rolling like fire today.
Wow. That is fire. So you set up the connection. You feel a low hum as the comms come on.
Invader.
That is strange word for business partner, my friend.
Business partner? I don't think so. You're not in business with you, unless you call business at the unfriendly end of a blaster pistol.
Well, perhaps we should then put things on a more friendlier term and we can become business partners, no? Listen, we took job. It has been far more complicated than we imagined, yes? But we need to recoup our losses. Now, I understand that you probably thought that this was going to be much easier than it was, yes? But you have lost so many men. Perhaps we can both walk away from this with something rather than simply throw it all away to barely make even.
All right.
So
Arcadian, what do you propose?
you take half the droids, we take half the droids, enough to satisfy contract with employer, yes? I'm afraid, crew, the ones that you did not get, the local wildlife took them out. They had some stupid idea to steal something from the local wildlife. Really pissed them off. I guess that's why they were here in first place, huh?
Greedy little idiots.
Indeed.
Wichita.
So we don't need to be greedy idiots ourselves, right? We can be reasonable people.
And I think that set up a possibility for a manipulation here.
Okay. Now I'm starting to wish I had put some points into charisma, but let's see.
You were given that opportunity last session. I feel no pity. No pity
I
for
was
you.
like, it's going to be a dungeon crawl. We'll shoot our way out. That's a 7.
Okay.
Do I take it or do I re-roll? I only re-roll the second dice, right? So I can keep the 5 and then
yeah,
re-roll
you can keep the
one
5
of them.
and you can re-roll the 2. No problem.
Yeah,
Then
may
you
as
gotta
well
take
do that.
whatever it is.
Yeah, but the odds are
That's
better,
good.
right?
5 and a 3.
So it's 8. So it's still the same result, but
Yeah,
still
still. Complication. Get what you want at some cost, reduce effect, difficult choice, or harm. And you're offering swap the droids. He says, there's some silence. Perhaps he's conferring with someone else. And then you feel the prick of them trying to do a trace back. Like they're trying to tap into your visual, like they're trying to hit your cam feeds. What do you do?
Can I try to counter that for him?
You can try.
Yeah. I'm going to try to counter splice. So they're basically trying to manipulate the helmet to go back. I'm trying to slice judo that right back into their ship.
Yeah. Their plan is like, hey, let's confirm if what this guy's saying is true. So that's the complication that's coming here. And if they confirm it, then they're going to agree to this.
All right. So I got an 8.
Okay. So this is going to cost you something to pull it off.
Physical
Either
pain.
yeah, I'll give you the choice. Physical pain. 2-1J gets some feedback and will be inoperable until you're able to repair him, or you're gonna have to burn through 2 of your supply.
I will take the physical pain.
All right, roll me a d6. Roll high. I mean, there's no armor to this either, right? Because it's right in your head.
Yep.
Ouch. 5
I would like to
points
use
of-
my tech to re-roll that.
Why don't you? That's not a terrible. Well, is a skill? Because I don't want to overlap with a veteran's instinct thing, but yeah, I'm okay with it. Go
Oh.
ahead. Go ahead.
All right, I took 2.
Okay. So then, yeah, you eat 2 damage. And what is it that you're just kind of shutting down their backpack and trying to slide in to their
Yeah,
defense?
you kind of see me start to shake a little bit, and then you start to see a little bit of smoke coming out underneath the thing, and I just go, "Hurry up!"
Nice. And I would guess that like part of this hack makes it appear as exactly how we wish it to appear on these sensors, you know? So whatever data they do get is whatever story we're telling them, right? And I guess we're luring them here, right? To this hangar essentially to blow the crap out of them. Yeah, let's do that then. Perfect. Oh, I know how we can use that freighter now. Drive it into them. But anyways, yeah, that seems like the plan, right? We'll set up this ambush and...
The arrangement is acceptable. We're coming out of orbit. If we see anything funny, we'll blast you out of the sky and you get nothing.
Just make sure you don't park on top of that skiff. Sorry about that.
We'll be there in 5.
And then he cuts transmission.
Cool.
And Jay basically turns to them and says, "You know they're going to double cross us, right?"
Yes,
That's
well,
why we're going to triple cross.
Rika says, they're a death gang. Yes, yes. So what's our triple cross, guys? And where's your ship? We need to get everything loaded on here. I assume that there's going to be some fighting and then we're going to have to run. So we need to be ready to run.
Well, we should activate more of these droids and have the rest in cargo waiting, you know, for them to pick up, of course. And as soon as they bring in their ship for landing, we blow them out of the sky with droids.
Arv, come on. Get one of these up out of the crate. She's, I'm working on it. It's fine. And then she pops one from a crate and flips a few toggles and starts to control it with this little, she's got a little wrist thing. And one of them stands up and you see the missile pods pop up.
I mean, like, what do we want to do with that? Are we leaving getting our ship until after we've taken them out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet is to, you know, we've got to take care of them first, and then we can leave in our ship.
Yeah.
We're going with you.
Yes, of course
Right?
you're going with me. You are at least, Rika. This liar. Ugh. I suppose I could forgive.
With the Rimexes, you know we're not going to leave the Rimexes, so we're not going to leave you.
I won't leave you. It is fine.
Okay, nobody's going to leave anybody. But let's just make sure that, you know, that's our choice, not theirs.
I'd maybe like honeypot the situation a bit, as in that sort of like be standing outside, like waving or some, you know what I mean? Like really egg them into a perfect firing position or something for these droids. Like maybe the droids are in the trees or something, you know?
All right. So let's lay out the situation to figure out when the Guavian Death Gang ship comes out of orbit and they come in hot, where you guys want to be. Remember, he said we're gonna be here in 5. Like his plan is to come in quick so that you don't have time to rethink what you've offered. That's their plan.
Okay, so I have a quick thing. How about if we basically open on the map the 15 outer blast launch door, which is pretty big for their ship to come in, and then rig it up so that as they come in, we have a couple of things that we can surprise them with. One is that Rika and Argent are still alive, and they can get the drop on them. Number two, we have droids, and number three, the creature is still growling away underneath the loader near number 5, the ship, right? So if we could figure out a way to release the creature on them, maybe that would help as well.
But yes, we have fully functional mining droids.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to bring all of those elements into the same plan because the droids are very explodey, shooty, and then I think our individual, like the other 2 members of the crew can't do that much against a ship that the droids couldn't do, and the creature. I love the idea, but that's like maybe if we packed it into a cargo box, along with I'll put one of the eggs in the cargo box, and then we could, in somehow like actually give the Guavians some of the cargo, and then it bursts open and eats them.
I like the idea. I mean, we can hold the creature stuff in our back pocket where we have like something that would pop it open and maybe it could just tear into us because that's like a last resort. I'm worried about so basically they've got to haul this stuff into their cargo hold. So we have a bunch of boxes, and I'd say we give them full boxes just to make sure everything looks legit.
Well,
and then when they least expect it.
Why don't we pretend that they're not in boxes and we just have them march right into the hold and then fire their weapons as they're marching?
I feel they will maybe suspect such a ploy.
Have you seen
this is
what
a
they look
flashback
like?
to our conversation before, I suppose, rather than in the 5 minutes that we have
Yeah.
to actually do it.
So the droids that are empty of ammo could be used to march the empty boxes into the cargo hold, and then the armed droids could step out of the shadows.
Right, we have the armed droids with on standby to ensure good behavior, right? Because they're inevitably going to double cross us. If they do take the bait, then we give them cargo boxes of the creature and inside of one of the boxes.
Cool. So Arvin is under Rika's direction. She's having all of the used up droids getting into one of the crates, and then the armed droids that she's just activated 5 more. They can carry the crates or whatever you guys need. Again, they said 5 minutes, so you're just getting notification that they're in their approach vector coming through the atmosphere. So just looking at the hangar, which is where you guys have been having this conversation, where do you think that each of you are set up? They are going to be coming from the blast doors and the blast doors, sorry. On 15, which is the outer blast door launch door. They'll be coming in that way. Have you retrieved your ship? And if so, where is it? Or is it still on the sandbar?
I think that we want to do this without the ship if possible, right?
But I don't think we have enough time to go get it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so your ship is still out there. The light freighter does have enough engines to where it could lift off, but it is not fully functional, no hyperdrive, and wouldn't be very fast because she's only been able to get basically a third of its sublight engines up and running, she being Arvin. So Rika is more than happy to help with a double cross. What is the plan, your final plan? You guys wanted to...
Are we going to lure them? Are we bringing them into the hangar, or are they going to meet us outside the hangar?
You guys can set that term. Like if you want to go outside and meet them there, that's where they would Go.
If we bring them into the hangar, I can make sure that they don't leave the hangar.
Yeah, then that's the plan. We do that
Yeah.
entirely. Yeah. And we actually do actually have, let's say that we get, like you say, Stephen, we legitimately have like cargo to load, right?
Yeah.
To lure them into sort of landing the ship and opening the bay door to get it in. And then one of these boxes will have the creature in. And my assumption is they're going to probably try and double cross us immediately. You know what I mean? And then that's when we spring the whole trap. We set off the monster as like a distraction. You slam the doors to make sure they can't bring the ship like to bear properly. Like take off and shoot at us from the ship. And then the mining droids come out and shoot the thing. And I will be happy to be front and center to make it all look believable. Does that work?
I think so. I will not be. I will be hiding behind something, cowering with a terminal where I can do the most good. I'm just informing you that if you need me to shoot something, this plan has gone horribly wrong.
No, you do your own magic.
Thank you.
And I think I'm going to be on the light freighter that's been repaired. And that's going to be what that's going to look like is, a contingency plan that I can ram them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lack is the point person, the mouth. He's the one who's talking, greeting them, that kind of stuff. You've got some crates of actual Remexes out here to be part of the ruse. You're with 2 and Jay hiding to try to support without being.
Yeah, I want to manipulate the doors, opening and closing the doors from a terminal, and then also as soon as they're in there, I want to see what I can do to their ship.
Okay, and then Jay is on the freighter as a pilot to rhyming speed if needed. That is a quote from a bad movie that I still love. So that sounds amazing. You guys all run into places. Rika tells Arvin to hide out because according to your story, they're dead. Mm-hmm. She's going to grab one of the crates and gently put those eggs inside and try to wrap them. So they're working on that. They don't want to put it on the freighter because that might be used to ram the Guavian Death Gang. So they're probably hiding out not far from Mama Aesaruk. The ship that the Guavian Death Gang has been flying comes down, and it's a nice ship. It's has some aftermarket modifications to add more gunnery to it, but she looks like they paid a pretty credit for it. And like you see them, the front, like right underneath the cockpit is the gangway, so they start walking down. And I've got a cool pic of some Guavian Death Gang members. They do not have their weapons out, but I want to show this cool pic. So I'll just, okay, hold on. That is not the button I wanted to hit. And now let me try hitting the right button. Boom. So actually, Guavian Death Gang members that aren't wearing helmets. But yeah, you see that one of them is a Quarren. You're Zist.
Mm-hmm.
You know this Quarren.
Oh, God.
Is he an old classmate? Is he a relative?
He's my cousin.
Your cousin.
He's supposedly off-world at medical school.
At med school. Yeah, your med school cousin.
Everybody in my family told, be more like him. Be more like him. He's doing it right.
And his name is Pwoesh.
Yes, Pwo. I'm tired of this. Everything is Pwo this,
Pwoesh.
Pwo that.
Pwoesh Warok. So he's your cousin. That's just delightful. That's such a terrible thing. So we'll stick him in the NPCs. And yeah, so cousin of cool. And yeah, the Trandoshan also, Lack, he looks a lot like the guy you killed. Probably related.
Great. Well,
So
I think Lax sat on the crates, legs swinging, jauntily waving, and they'll stand up. He's got one of the mining droids like stood as like a kind of bodyguardy type thing, right? Like stood there to make it look not completely obvious that we're letting them into a trap. And I'll just stand up and open up my cloak and turn around and be like, "Hey, no blaster, gentlemen. Should be peaceful. Yes, I can tell my friend here to power down if we are all on board. Yes."
yeah, let's see if you can manipulate them with all of the steps that you've taken, or something betrays you.
Okay. Yes, there is a lot of complicated parts in this plan.
Also, just for all of you, you recognize that the person you talk to, you would have recognized his voice if it were your cousin. And so whoever you were communicating with, who's their leader, is not part of this little crew that's been sent down to talk to you. So how did that manipulation go?
That went to a 7, which I will just take.
Okay. Cool. With a 7 to 9, you get what you want, which is for them to trust you a little bit. But it's with some cost, reduced effect, difficult choice, or harm. So I think what the result is that Quarren says, "Sure, tell them to stand down. Tell them to stand down. Listen, just grab those crates and carry them on."
Be my guest.
No, you do it.
Fine. And I tell the droid, you mind if the droid helps me? There are lots of crates and only one of me.
He glances over, and the Trandoshan says, "Where is my brother?"
I don't know. Where is your brother? Here,
He'll
look.
walk
Okay.
forward and shove you to the ground, and he stands over you. "Where is my brother?"
He's in the crate.
And he's going to go over to open that crate.
Yeah, we know which crate I mean, right, Rich?
we do mean the crate. Like, is this actually the crate that you guys have stuffed the Aceruk inside? Is that the crate that you've just directed him to?
Yes, of course, entirely.
That's amazing. Cool. So the Trandoshan, desperate for his brother, who he thinks.
First of all, this is very specious of us. We assume that if I assume that you two are related.
Throws open the crate, and the Aceruk's head appears quickly as we see the beady eyes of the Trandoshan as he tries to move back, and the thing snaps hold of his head. And it does the thing where it stands up and it does the thrash back and forth of Trandoshan. All hell now breaks loose.
I dive for cover as I act first in a fight.
Yes, you do.
Because I know that this is going to turn into suddenly awash with mining supplies.
It turns out your reaction time is your agility, so you should probably go ahead and roll that 2d6 plus 2.
Okay. Accidentally put plus 20 in. 10. Finally, my first 10 of the
You
whole.
got your first 10 of the whole
game,
freaking
yeah.
game. Oh,
Wait.
you're just born for mixed success. Hey, no, sorry, that was your assist. Got a 10. I was like going back at the last ones and like, no, there's not a single. Oh, you poor boy. Sweet. So you dive out of the way as a hail of blaster bolts are fired your way from the two who are covering you. You're crawling for one of the crates. You resist. They are firing on the Aceruk. They're firing at Lack. The droid is now just deploying mining charges wantonly. This is going to be a problem. What are you doing?
I'm not paying attention to any of that right now. I'm just trying to use the terminal that I'm at to try to get into the ship. Now that it's on the ground, I'm going to try to splice into the vessel itself.
Oh, nice. You want to slice into the vessel itself. You're trying to hijack then.
Yes.
Give me that intelligence roll.
9. I want to use tech to re-roll that too.
That's probably a good call, because that should go well for you.
Or not. Five. All right.
Nice.
That's like a lot.
You
12.
Yeah. And again, this is Star Wars, right? So it's not like there's a whole lot of wireless stuff. Most everything seems to be wired. Is this a thing where you're communicating with 2IJ and he's kind of popped in?
As soon as the ship hit the ground, everybody else didn't necessarily notice, but 2IJ was dragging this conduit cable across the floor and plugged it into the back of the ship where the diagnostic console was.
Perfect.
With a long line that led back to me hiding behind a crate.
I love it. That is awesome. Thank you for going along with the slightly manual idea of Star Wars connections. So you don't have full control of the ship. You can take control of 2 parts of it. You can take control of environmentals. You can take control of shipboard comms. You could take control of their weapons system. You could take control of their engines. And then, of course, you could do like take control of doors, any of the points that connect the ship.
I'm going to do 2 things. One of which is I'm going to take control of their weapons so they can't train ship weapons on us. And I'm going to take control of their environmentals, where I'm going to suddenly start ratcheting up the heat inside the vessel.
Nice. Okay.
So over the course of the next couple rounds, it will be becoming more and more unbearable to be in the ship.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. So the fact that they had a guy who jumped in one of the turrets who was about to try to fire on the Aceruk, it's like click, 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 click. Meanwhile, there are explosions as depth charges are being fired at the front battery of this ship. They quickly turn on shields, but you see a number of the explosions connected, and there is shrapnel flying everywhere. Jay, what are you doing?
Jay kicks on the engines for the light freighter and is ramming their ship with it.
Give me a pilot roll. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, part of the yeah. I'll roll and we'll see what happens. Let's see. Agility, is that right?
It is. Piloting is agility.
Okay. So, and that's a +2. Ooh, I got a 14. Is that right? No. There's a D4 added in there, so I got a 12.
Dang it! That 14 would have gotten you something different? No, it's all good. Sweet. What does it look like when you slam this light freighter into the Guavian Death King's ship?
Yeah, what we see on screen is basically Jay is there. He's got everything kind of lined up, and he takes this cable and wraps it around the, of course, manual analog kind of stick, flips a couple of switches, and it starts, it powers up, and I think you see a couple of the gangers kind of look at the engines light up because they didn't expect it, and then it kind of whooshes off, but it can't gain that much speed in this distance. But several of the gangers that were shooting at Lakim kind of jump out of the way. We see that whole scatter, and it kind of the light freighter kind of plants itself where their what do you call that? The gangplank came down
Oh
and they
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of came out of, and it kind of like tears into part of that and kind of sticks itself in the hole and is like shoving everything kind of off kilter.
Yeah, and I mean it doesn't stop, right? You've got
Right.
enough fuel where it just continues pushing it back into the jungle. That sounds amazing. So I meant to do this earlier, but I really feel with all the stuff that's going on, should take like a D4 worth of splash damage. Like this is just too crazy for him to be completely unscathed.
Oh
And all
yeah,
of his
he's
grease
rolling
spots.
through the bay as this explosions and blaster bolts and everything rips around him. Okay, 1d4.
And
Yeah.
what you see at this point is your Zitz running as fast as he can because he doesn't want the conduit cable to break.
That's right. You got to keep up with it.
Oh yeah.
2 points. Do my armor apply? I'm happy to say it wouldn't.
I don't think it does. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So you took a couple points of damage. It sucks. It's definitely something you'll remember in the morning. Bruising, and if you live, all
Well,
that good stuff.
I think that diving for cover, it's then as an explosion rips up and I get action movie style blown away with the explosion, like rolling behind something as that
Absolutely.
as that freighter then suddenly goes roar past me.
Yeah. Boom! It slams into it. The Guavian Death Gang members who'd piled out of come down the gangway at this point are all messed up. You're trying to keep track of things and trying to keep hold of the cable as this ship is being pushed, skidding back on the landing gear, pushing through, sluicing through the mud of the jungle, because remember it's very, very wet here, and he like slams into a couple of trees that quickly crack and start to bend over, and as you're keeping track of it, you look over and you see your cousin. He's just run away from the Guavia Death Gang members. He's trying to get to the ship. At this point, you see him grab hold of one of the ladders on the light freighter. It looks like he's going to try to climb up into the freighter to stop it. What do you do, Yerzist?
I have a lot of pent up passive aggression towards my cousin.
Is it passive would become more active?
It's about to become active. When he starts to point, when he starts to climb up the ladder, I want one of the turrets immediately to train on him because I have control of the weapon system.
Yes, you do.
And completely overkill. Just
oh my lord. Okay, so yeah, I think you're going to be shooting a turret, which will be, I think it's tech, right? I think
yes, it has to be.
I'm messing with technology. So
yeah. Let's see, and this is I got a 9.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. I think normally you would be rolling like a heavy weapon here. So it'd be a D6 plus 2, but you get half of the value of that D6. That's the cost. It's one of those where he gets up the ladder, your baby taking him out regardless, but he just catches it the last second and only gets winged. So go ahead and roll a D6 and cut that in half and add 2 to it. And that's how much damage he takes.
All right.
Okay.
So 3.
Right. Yep. So yeah, he's hit. And when you look seconds later, you're not sure if he's fallen off or made it through the hatchway, but it's the action movie of he's gone, you must have killed him moment.
Must have.
So yeah, Jay, you're in the cockpit of this thing, right? But you tied some belts. Are you planning on ditching at this point?
Yeah, so I think my plan was to ditch, but I don't think I got out in time before it hit.
You're still in there, yeah.
I think I jump out as there's the trees are bending and cracking and everything. It's been rolling. And I jump out into the, I guess, the jungle and start to head back into the hangar to help everyone out. Whenever I see your Zit's cousin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he just
heading towards the cockpit? So you're about to jump out, and he's going to try to shut this thing down.
Has he already been shot?
He has been shot when he makes
Okay.
it onto the ship.
Okay.
So it's just a pause. Like, you can have already jumped off and see him going, or you could still be in the cockpit as he's approaching the cockpit. Which do you think is more interesting?
I think it's more interesting if, like, basically I come up to the door to jump out, and he steps up,
Yeah.
kind of wounded, and I'm like, we're both shocked for a second.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the door opens up, and you were reaching to turn it on, and he's just opened it, and he sees you, you see him, and he looks so much like your Zist, except, bloody.
And in a ganger outfit, right?
In it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not your Zist. It's just like, hey, you see the family resemblance. Although it could be a Quarren thing. Who knows?
And then I think we stop for a second, and then I think Jake slaps leather and pulls out his.
Yeah, and
It
he's
wouldn't
going to
be his
reach forward and
pistol
try to
anymore.
grab you and
Yeah.
like shove you to the ground. And
Yeah.
so why don't you go ahead and give me that agility roll?
Okay.
You're real good at this. I don't think he's going to do well.
So that's an 11. Yeah.
What's it look like? I'm pretty much with your +2. Yeah, he's gonna go down. So what's it look like?
Yeah, I think that what happens is he actually grabs me and we tussle. I pull out the blaster, but it's not my little pistol, it's the
Mhm.
big blaster now. And we're actually down on the ground, and you hear this, we hear the laser fire, the blaster fire go off, and then, collapse. And then Jay kind of eases out from underneath and then jumps out the door.
Nice. And it's that moment, that pregnant pause of which one was shot, and then you get up and you struggle and jump out of the door. Lack, got to catch up with you at this point. You, like, all hell broke loose. You do the explosion. You kind of jump back, and then all of a sudden, you feel someone like grabbing you by your awesome cape and yanking you behind one of the crates. And it's Rika. She's got a blaster pistol, and she's like firing over the crate. And you are like behind the crate now for a moment. You can catch a breath as she ducks down. This is pretty great, right?
Oh yes, real awesome. Yes. And I'm gonna yell over there and over her shoulder. And can I say that this crate is the one that she put the eggs inside?
Sure.
And I
That's
wanna- I
the
wanna
crate
s-
she'd be protecting.
Yeah, and I want to steal them.
How?
Well, I have the ability to smuggle if I put objects somewhere it could reasonably be hidden. I mean, my cape clearly has like a concealed lining inside, right? And I think the thing I'm going to do is, as she goes away, I just quickly reach my hand in, pull them out, and then as she ducks back down again, I'm like, over there again, and then again, and then I will pull up my blaster and start covering,
All right, give me an agility roll.
away.
Give me an agility roll. On a 10+, you can snag an egg, and she will be none the wiser.
Okay.
On a 7 to 9, there may be some further subterfuge needed.
Oh yes. That's a 14.
Oh, everybody's rolling an extra D4 now.
Oh well, yeah. That's not even without that's a 10.
It's a 10. It's a 10.
Yeah.
It's legit.
It's the down button doesn't take it away, does it? It puts it to
No.
1. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. I'll give some feedback to John about that. So yeah, it's a thing where she's firing on one of the Guavian Death Gang members, ducks behind, you snag one of those eggs, and it's not small, right? She was carrying them like this, so that's why I was thinking you could get one secreted on your person.
Can I suggest then that I get one, and then as she turns around and she's about to say, I shove her out of the way, and like an explosion takes out the crate entirely.
Oh no! That sounds like a complication. Okay.
Well, no, but that way we've got the money and she hasn't got anything, and she
know.
doesn't know that we've stolen something either.
Oh, you
so.
screwed her. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, the explosion happens, and she loses the egg. She's not gonna cry over it. She'll think of another scheme. Yeah, so Jay, you've gotten into the jungle. You're Zist. You've cooked. These guys are cooking at this point, and that light freighter has done a number. If you guys were just to beat feet at this point, you don't think it basically it's going to take them a while to repair that ship to make it able to fly.
I'm going to do one more thing before we run. I'm going to set the ion cannons to overload.
Nice. Give me a
Yeah,
quick tech roll.
I'm thinking EMP.
I think so too. That sounds pretty awesome because they're all wearing cybernetics. So if you do that right in the middle of their faces, that's going to
All right, I'm re-rolling the 1.
Oh, this does not look good for you at all.
All right, so that is
5 plus 2.
That's a 7.
7. Wow. Okay, you barely pulled that off. Squeak.
I think that it completely severs the conduit connection.
Yeah, I think this is the last thing you're able to pull off. And you set that to go off. And as you are running back with 2 IJ behind you, you see this arc of electricity kind of pop open from an EMP blast. And
as I'm running and I hear 2 IJ behind me, I hear a and then he keels over because he got the last bit of the blast.
Nice.
So I turn around, I grab him, I cradle him, and now I'm running, holding him with little sparks. I'm like, it'll be okay, little guy. It'll be okay.
Nice. So do we do a quick cut to you guys rushing to the ship at this point? Battered, injured, but the Remexes are being carried by a number of the droids as you're making your way towards the river.
Yeah, with like the jungle on fire behind us, I guess.
Yes.
Like where the Guavian ship and the freighter is like exploded and hitting away. Yeah.
I think we see some of the wildlife in the jungle kind of running away from us, running away from that fire and that explosion.
Yes.
And we're just running along with them. Like scary things. We're running and the robots are kind of plodding along and we see scary kind of things come out of the jungle, but they pay us no mind because they're running away from the explosion.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
that's
the
good.
Terminator Jurassic Park mashup that we've always wanted to be in.
Yes. Yes. I even have a picture of one of the things that is running beside you. Is like a little family of one of these things. Is Cinegon. Because it's just don't want to deal with the giant fire that you guys have started. So you rush up the gangplank. You, Rika, Arvin, the droids are all putting things away. Rika's looking around and she says, yeah, I gotta grab something from my ship. And then she takes off back down the gangplank. What do you guys do? Arvin says, I'm sorry, but I think we should leave her. Let's go.
Yeah, but we're getting paid extra for Rika. I will just swear and jump off after her. But I will leave my coat behind, my cloak behind in the
because of the water. Yeah.
And I think Jay is just busy flipping switches, trying to get things ready to go.
Cool. What
And
is your Zist doing?
Your Zist is making sure that all the crates, the restraining bolts that are working on all the crates are going to make sure that they are restrained during the flight. The last thing I want is these things turned on when we're in the air.
Yeah, that's sweet. So we cut to Lack as you emerge from the water in the cargo hold area that you've been in before. Do you imagine you have like some kind of little torch of some kind?
Yeah. Like we've got the gas mask thing on, and we've got the black. I think the blaster rifle's got a flashlight underneath it. Right?
There we go. That looks awesome. Yeah. And you are moving down, and again, it's like everything is a slight tilt. You can see this silt has started to give way, and this thing has even more of an angle. So she's running along, and it's kind of the thing where she's holding up against the ceiling to where she's able to run. And she's kind of running like, imagine this was the way the wall was. Now it's kind of like that type deal. And she drops down into one of the cabins that you had kind of pilfered through before.
Mhm.
She goes, "Well, listen, man, I can't believe we lost those eggs, but I still got something worth something." And you hear her rummaging through one of the one of the chests that's set up there, a locker.
Mhm.
What do you do?
Listen, we get paid more if you're alive with us. You're part of the job now. Come on, for craft's sake.
What? Oh, yeah, sure. And she pulls out a false bottom that you had missed and reaches down and pulls out, and you see these like shiny crystals that she pulls out and drops into a pouch. Yeah, I couldn't show these before, right? Because I mean, Jack already tried to get us. So
Jack.
yeah, Jack Finster. He was in with the Guavian Death Gang. He double dealt with us. Triple dealt. Is that the way it goes? Where somebody else comes in. I really hate that.
You have so many complicated things going on with your family, your life, your employer. It is,
I'm a complicated woman.
Indeed,
You like
indeed.
that
Now,
about me, though.
I do. I like it so much that I won't even tell anybody about this little operation here for one of those gems.
Oh, give me
Yes.
a
manipulator
will roll.
Well, that is a will roll, as in
Yeah.
I rolled a 1 on one of those dice, so that's definitely one of my rolls.
Oh yeah, you want to re-roll that?
That's a 10. No, that's a 9. That's a 9.
It's a 9. It's a 9. It's a complication. She says.
I tell you what, the complication could be.
Mm-hmm.
But here is you can take my blaster rifle as a sign of trust. If listen, I won't force you to do anything, but here is my blaster rifle. So we got to get out of here, basically.
There we go. All right,
to show you can trust me.
You hand over the blaster rifle. She gives you a moderately sized glowing gem that you've never seen quite the like of, this crystal. And then you guys head back, kind of walking in that awkward, haphazard ways. The thing sinks a little forward, and then the water starts to spill into the cargo hold more. And she goes, "Well, I guess we're going to swim out of here." Meanwhile, you hear the engines primed, and the best car Dianoga is ready to go as you guys dip into the water and start to swim your way underneath and back up. When you surface, she doesn't surface with you. Like, what do you do?
I mean, she's got all those other gems.
Mm-hmm.
I take a deep breath and kick back down again.
Nice. So when you kick back down again, you look and through the rushing river and the like, you see that she is being pulled away from you, and you see behind her is one of those Krakadossians.
Oh crap! I'm going to swim in and stab it with my vibro knife to try and get it to let go.
Oh, you had a blaster rifle or something, but yeah,
mean,
vibro knife sounds good.
Yeah, I do actually. I was going to just say that I have a blaster pistol in my secret space, right? Like, I never got rid of my old blaster pistol.
Burn a supply. Burn your last supply.
I just feel it's more cinematic to
vibro
wrestle
knife
with the thing.
Me into it. That sounds fun.
Yeah. But that's strength, though, isn't it? I guess. Which I have a -1.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I did intend to play this character as a risk taker, so
yeah.
Oh, sweet. 11.
What? Boxcars? Of course,
Boxcars.
you're going to roll like a 1 on the vibro damage. So you stab it right in the eye. And the 12 like that's just supremely good, right? Both dices come up 6. Critical success. You get what you want and something extra. You and the GM should come up with an appropriate bonus or extra effect. So it's going to be blinded. It's going to be bloody. You may not kill it with 1 stab, but it's going to be enough for it to release her. Does that seem fair?
Yeah. I want basically to release her and, slow it down while we get away from it, basically. Like,
Okay.
for it to be a chase instead.
Go ahead and roll that D6.
D6. 5. That's pretty good.
Wow, that is really good. You heard it real bad. And so it releases and she starts swimming like fury. And yeah, you guys will try to swim out of the way. You surface. Jay, you see the two of them surface from the cockpit. You've got the ship ready to go, and you see one of those crocodilians surfaces and it opens this big wide mouth and it's trying to swim and catch up to them. What do you do, Jay?
Ship is actually taken off, and it's
Ooh,
kind of
cool.
hovering there with like the gangplank down, so
Pushing
they
all
can,
the water
you know,
down.
the plan is that they'll kind of jump on, but they're swimming up out of that water because he saw the other ship start to go under, right? And I think I'm going to pilot the ship to see if either I can make sure it's easier for them to jump on and get out. And yeah, let's see how that pilot goes.
Okay, yeah, give me a pilot roll.
And that is agility.
It is.
That's a 6.
Not great.
Yeah. So I will re-roll one of those.
Good call.
Yeah.
Which one? The first two or the second two?
Right. So that makes it a
7.
3 + 2 + 2 is 7. Okay.
Exactly a 7. Awesome. Yeah, so let's see. A complication.
Can I have a suggestion?
If you have a suggestion, throw it my way.
I do. So I think what happens is Jay's trying to pilot the ship and scoop the two of them up, almost like, a net coming out. And what happens instead is he hits too hard and hits the croc, right? So basically, the two of them are like, oh, Jay's great at this. He's going to save the day and get us. And then it comes in too hard, and they hear this crunch. And they're like, we don't want that. We don't want Jay to try and scoop us up this way. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, we duck and the landing pad just goes over our heads, killing the crocodile. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, it slams into the crocodile, but you don't actually. Oh, yes.
I have a callback. Little higher.
Cool. So, Lack, how is it that you're going to try to help Rika, who is hurt? Right, she just got her leg bit pretty hard. How are you going to try to help her up onto the landing gear so you two can get on the ship and get out of here?
Oh, I mean, it's arm around the shoulder, hauling her out like it's Hicks and Ripley fleeing LV-246.
Nice. I love all the alien callbacks. That's great. Give me an agility roll. You agile fiend, you.
Yeah, well. I rolled well last time, so I'm nervous about it now.
You should be. You're only allowed to roll once.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, man. It was not nearly boxcars, but that is awesome. You look quite dashing as you help Rika up and then climb up after. And then the Beskar Dianoga is taking off all the water dripping off of it. And you see another bit of fire from the jungle. And then the landing gear closes up and you guys take off, leaving atmosphere, leaving Pontchartrain behind. So I'll open this up with the remaining time we have. Does anybody have like epilogues that they'd like to do for their characters or the crew?
We're going to run out of fuel on the way back. I remember that. I don't know if that's of interest.
Actually, no.
Oh, we siphoned it, didn't we? We siphoned it.
Off
Perfect.
of the Tinker's prize.
I think basically for Lack, we go through the, I don't say a word to the corporation about Rika's whole side deal and things like that. I just say the Guavian death gangs were involved. And we take that gem, and then afterwards I start hitting up buyers for this egg. Who was it who we said who took our partner? It was who was it?
It was play on 1313.
On 1313, and I
go.
go.
That's when that took place.
And I go. Dunga the Hutt always likes the rare stuff. I'm going to use that egg to try and barter for somebody with the Hutt cartel.
Nice.
It can either be for my own if somebody else wants to do something to help our ex-partner, but otherwise it'll be for our ex-partner, and I'll still be on the hook. Be like Han Solo,
You never get out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. What about for Jay?
I think we see Jay at a future job, and the crew's all there, and I think this is the windup of the job. It's an arms deal, trading arms or recovering arms or something like that. And I think Jay, turns to the other two and er, and says basically, I think this is goodbye, and he leaves with the others who are where the deal is going. We dropped off these guns, and I think as we see them kind of take off, it's part of the New Republic.
Ooh, nice. The
And he
book
says
of Jay.
these tearful goodbyes, and I think he takes that little tattered cape that he wears, and it's a
Mhm.
small thing, and I think he puts it around 2IJ, right? Yeah.
Nice. I like it. That's cool. What about your Zist?
You see Yerzist working in his little lab on board the ship, and he's got 2IJ sitting there, and he's got the Guavian Death Gang helmet right next to him. And what you do is you see he is pulling off the image of his cousin, because he was wearing the helmet during this action and it was recording it. So he's pulling off the image of his cousin being a member of the Death Gang. And then you see a little terminal. He goes, "Dear Mom and Dad."
It's sort of like the holiday, newsletter that he's sending out to the family.
Dad needs to speak to his brother because I have something you really need to see. And this is utterly, completely petty, but that's exactly what he is doing right now.
That is hilarious. Oh, that's good. All right. Well, we have 10 minutes left, so I think that is where we will bring the Offworlders series to an end. Thank you guys so much. That was pretty wild. That was good from my standpoint. So let's do a quick round of stars and wishes. And as we talk about wishes, because again, this was the second of two. Any thoughts you have for two shots? Because I don't normally run I normally run the 4 session range. So any feedback that you have along improving like a 1-shot, 2-shot type experience would be helpful, just from your recent experience playing this. And so we'll start off with wishes. Who'd like to go first with the wishes?
I'll go first. So one of the things I was thinking about during this, I'm sorry, the 2-shot thing worked really well for me. It felt like a little bit longer 1-shot, and it was very satisfying. The one thing I noticed with the system, there were a couple of things I noticed with the system. One was there's no helping role.
Yeah.
And I tend to like it helps kind of keep a group more cooperative and more together, is to see that helping role where you can potentially help someone overcome that potential miss. It doesn't have to be an actual role to roll with bond or something like that, but something you can do to just bump them a little bit and show that you're a part of the group. The other thing I noticed,
I almost hacked one in.
yeah.
There was a moment where I almost said, "Let's do this thing," but I decided to let it roll rules as written. So I felt the same thing, Steven. Sorry, you were going to say.
The other thing I noticed was this is a very rules light system, and I like the roll, the re-roll abilities to kind of make you feel like your specialty is really good. But in the first session, there was this tension about about resource management. Do we have enough fuel to get to the ship? And that seemed to be part of a different game to me. Whenever other game systems are about resource management and making sure you have enough rations and torches and that kind of stuff to get in and out, and that seemed to be different. It seemed to be off the meaning of what this simple little light game is.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I wanted to put an extra pressure for something you need to accomplish on the planet. So that was not necessarily mechanically as much as just I wanted the narrative to push, not just getting the thing and taking off, but maybe needing to do some other thing around fuel. But I think that's a really good feedback, because it was odd. It was a little weird. And it's not really the wheelhouse of this game either.
Yeah.
So
this is I guess a Dungeon World maybe. I haven't played Dungeon World, but what I'm saying is that PBTA dungeon crawling, this kind of thing is, it's hard for me to have a feedback about like the two-shot part of it, because this whole system is quite different to the normal PBTA style of play, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's very like, I mean, we're coming up with plans and we can do anything, right? It all comes down to the same 2 dice ultimately, right? But it's very like, it's not like a move that tells you like what the fiction needs to be kind of thing. It's just all open. I did enjoy it. I agree with the feel thing, but the way I was thinking of the feel thing was like, we will roll on a random encounter table if we have to stop off at a place to refuel, kind of, you know, it felt very that kind of like, plan your route, and if you get there, wherever you end up might depend on what kind of random encounter you have to deal with before you actually get to the job site, and then you've got the dungeon, and then the situation, and get back and get paid and get your ship and stuff, you know. I did like how simple it was, and I think it's good for the 2-shot as well, like the setup, the crew and the stuff like that, and then
Yeah,
the
a World
action.
of Dungeons game style is not a game I would necessarily normally want to run 4 sessions of, right? Because there's just it's not as rich. I also found, sorry, but like I took over. I found the advancement system lacking. Like, there's a big gap. The fact that you can make yourself not get XP by re-rolling your skills means you get less XP, but you can't advance till you get 10 XP. It feels like that number is set up for longer campaigns, and dear God, I don't think I would want to do this as a long campaign. There's just not enough meat on the bone. It's a fine little flyweight, almost trad style version of PBTA. So to me, I would have, if I were to do it again, I'd say the advancement is 5 XP for those things.
If you were looking for like the feedback on the 2-shot as a format, I just would say like this, it works well for this kind of thing, like you say, for the long reasons, but also like Cartel would probably be my go-to for that, right? Because setup and then horrible payoff in second round.
Such horrible payoff. Awesome. Thank you for that, Will. Philip, did you have any? Wait,
Sure.
were you done, Will?
No.
Okay.
To kind of piggyback on what Stephen was saying, with the fuel mechanic, we also had supply, and we didn't really, you know, it's one of those things where maybe supply should have been in a little bit, maybe we should have been burning supply for different things. Maybe every time I was trying to do something with, you know, with
Tech.
slicing, maybe that should have been a supply.
Yeah, I
So-
almost asked for that once or twice. I probably should have just went with my gut.
So perhaps that would have been something to make it a little bit more, or maybe even, you know, maybe re-rolls, use supply or something like that, because it's one of those where,
Interesting.
yeah, it's good, but you're calling on either your, you know, however, you know, maybe like, you know, the first time you use your tech or your re-roll, that's free. Then after that, every other time you use it, it costs you 1 supply.
Can see that.
So it's a way of kind of triggering resource management and burning through those things. Also, it'd be like, hey man, can I just get 1 supply? You know, and somebody else is sitting on 3, and you know.
That was pretty cute when you were like using someone else's supply to heal. That was neat.
But that sort of thing, maybe that would be you know, a way of kind of handling that resource and making that a little bit more desperate. I think 2-shots are fantastic for anything that's heisty, which this sort of was. But yeah, I think it was good, and also it got to the point where one of the issues that I have with 2-shots sometimes is the first half. You get to the second half, and you're like, what did we do the first time? But because we were sitting on that turn, you know, that we're just about to walk into something that's about to get more dangerous. It was very memorable sitting back down what had happened the first time. So that's a positive.
Good. Since you've already let off with some of the stars, did you have any other stars you wanted to throw out?
Let's see. I love playing with you guys. I think that this is a fantastic group, especially for this sort of game. And Star Wars universe is definitely a star there. But I think both, you know, pretty much everybody around the table has had their moments, which is good for kind of a small, you know, a 3-person game like this. Yeah. If this was 4 or 5, I think there would be a lot, you know, it wouldn't have been as impactful, but I think it was fantastic at this number.
Cool. Thank you so much, Philip. Will, what stars do you want to throw?
I just wanted to throw a star out for playing this kind of thing in Star Wars. You know, it did feel like like I keep saying, it did feel like a D&D type dungeon crawl, job kind of thing, framed in the Star Wars universe. And I love that. I love this sort of picaresque type feel, like we're just little stories of, this is one of our jobs, but we all did manage. I liked the fact that as a crew, and especially with that fourth member, and it built like so the relationships between us all and our shortfalls every time. And I thought that we came up with good, like, characterful solutions and interactions with each other to do it. And with this world of basically, like, these were the rogues, right, rather than the diehard criminals of the Star Wars universe. It was all very like light-hearted and pulpy kind of style.
Yeah, totally.
And
I
you are
turned green
green
again.
You are green again. Yeah.
I'm green with envy for this. All right,
Yeah.
see if that fixed it. Sweet.
Those are my stars.
Thank you, Stephen. Any to finish this up?
Everyone got their little star. I have to say, I think it's like stuck in my headcanon now that as your Zitz was running, trying to continue hacking the ship, little 2IJ was there and like the plug came out and he shoved it back in and all that. I loved that interaction. I loved how Lakeem stole the egg and kind of kept it, and then the crate got crushed, and Rika was kind of like, oh, that's after all that risk and we finally got it. And I mean, all of those little character moments felt really good, so that was really nice. And you guys really brought those characters alive to me.
Yeah, absolutely. The character work was fantastic. The coordination and even a little bit of like planning, which I normally run screaming from in games because they can bog down a session. You guys did a great job with that. So all in all, very, very fun. Love playing with you guys. Philip, welcome to Star Wars Saturdays. I hope you're able to make it in some more in the future. It was really great.
I would like to
get you guys in. So we'll go ahead and bring the recording to a close here. Thank you all.